Strike number 2, the palm strike. Much better than often the fist, because the fist can break when it strikes the bowling ball. The palm strike is a very combative alternative to punching. Not saying quit punching, your time and place for that. But the palm strike we will apply in the different clock angles that we talk about. But we must remember the sweet spot of the palm strike. If you hit too high, you can hyperextend or hurt your hand. But down around the lower horseshoe is a great spot. Let me get Tom out here to demonstrate this. If I put pressure up here on his palm, there's give in there. You see, he can't quite push back with any real resistance. If I put my stick here and push down, there's not much resistance here. But if I push right here, he has the ability to have a lot of resistance. This is an old weightlifting trick. Thanks. And then what this does, people will weightlift laying the bar across that sweet spot in a bench press or other techniques. And so what this helps you do is maximize your ability to strike by using that sweet spot of the strike. The palm is done in a thrust and a hook, exactly as we've done before. Solo command and mastery of the palm strike. We have a thrusting palm, 12 o'clock. Originating from the 3 o'clock area, a thrusting palm at 3. Previously, we were concerned with always striking the eye. Now we're free to deliver these strikes anywhere that we want them. We have a thrusting palm at 6 o'clock. We have a thrusting palm at 9. We have to switch sides. We have a 12, and a 3, and a 6. And a 9 o'clock. Then you have hooking palm strike. We have a hook at 12, a hook at 3, a hook at 6, and a hook at 9 o'clock. We'll switch 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. Remember, my other hand is up in the window of combat supporting me. That rectangle loosely bordered by my shoulders and about mid-thigh. And now there's one more palm attack that's used, and that's sometimes a cuff or a slap across the face. It doesn't meet a huge object of resistance, but rather may cuff the nose, and it's a pretty viable stunner. We've done the solo command and mastery of the palm strike. Our next step is to do them with mitts. This is almost a tie pad size mitt. Buy them at any store. Very good training, nice and light. We have to learn to hit something to build goal-specific strength in our body and to feel the natural resistance of hitting something for real. You have all this equipment you can also buy almost anywhere to experience that. But we'll get Tom out here, and what he'll do is he'll hold us up against himself. And now, he will not get hurt with any strikes, but he will begin to feel what it's like to feel a strike. We'll turn a little bit this way right here. And so I am striking at the 3 o'clock strike with a hook. He gets to safely say, wow, that's what it's like to get hit. Wow, now I feel that. And so what I usually ask our people to do in a workout section is to take 10 strikes from here, and then right up around here, we get 10, the 2 hands to hold it. 10 is coming down at 12 o'clock. 10 at 6 o'clock, which is effectively the groin strike. Let him move this leg back a little bit so you get a decent angle on the strike. You develop and learn 10 strikes from here and 10 from here. The backhand hook. Working 10. So you do all your thrusts and all the hook strikes we just did, solo command and mastery, against the focus fit drill. And if you should and are lucky enough, do them against some heavy bags for your own body strength. Statue drill. We've explained it to you before. His arms are up, but they could be in any configuration you might want to practice. Same side contact, palm strike. Same side contact, palm strike. Split, double palms. Same side contact, palm strike. Same side contact, and any palm strike. You see, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We'll do it for you once here. Note this hand is always up as a possible support hand. Now, we learned last time we made this one do all the work. We also have a crossover and a palm strike. Crossover and palm strike. Split, sometimes I like to challenge the students by making one additional crossover. You do that as you see fit, as your capabilities allow you. Crossover, palm strike, crossover, palm strike. Notice I hit around the elbow area because technically that controls the arm better. If I hit low, an experienced fighter, they say, still has an elbow on you. So you try to hit that key area right there. Cross and strike, split, cross and strike, cross, and then strike. We follow our training methodology. We try to do the clinch drill and do the palm strike out of the clinch drill. Ramming speed, two people are here. We've rammed together. Here's my palm strike of opportunity. Up against the ear. Pretty good. I have his head cradled to my shoulder. Boom. Or, let's turn around this way. We crash in some sort of unprepared situation. Here, I will take a shot at his palm. So we try to exercise the palm strike out of the clinch drill. It's block, pass, and pin time with the palm strike. Both arms will be worked. We've done this before, and we're not going to belabor it. He's giving me a palm attack this time. And since the subject is palms, I'm very palmy on his arm. Palm, palm, palm. You see, palm, palm, palm. I'm using a lot of the palm action on this one because that's the subject of our motion. Here is 1 and a palm strike, 2 and a palm strike, 3 and the palm strike. That's the same hand making the first contact, following up. Then we have to learn that we have contact, the other palm strikes, contact, the other palm strikes, contact, the other palm strikes. So you get to do both arms out of the skill drill. We have to show and practice some combat scenarios using the palm strike inside the action. Now keep in mind every level has regular takedowns and throws in it. And we only make a few applications with each strike or kick for the combat scenario. This one is the classic military takedown. We'll break it down for you. Here's a foolish pistol threat. Remember, there are 3 ranges to a pistol threat. Contact, lunge and reach, and then sniper range, where you have nothing but verbal skills if you're close enough to communicate with a person. But this is your robber at a convenience store, your kidnapper, your threatening, menacing person who points that gun to your head, and you give him good face. And the more you look like you're surrendering, sometimes the less his quickness to react drops. Oh, I'm in control now. Oh, I'm in control now. And so what I'm going to do is wrap around and try to control this gun as best I can. I do that palm strike, catching the chin in this classic military application right here. They box the head back. Very powerful. Using the sweet spot. I step and reach. Clear the barrel. Wrap. Palm strike. I like to step through, pulling him off balance. People who do this, and suddenly it's the most sensible person wins, the strongest person wins. I need to gain the advantage by charging this way, pushing, reach through the leg, capture, smash, until you feel sufficient that he got reach around and then rip out this weapon. Remember, this is the enemy's handgun. It may not be loaded. It may be a replica. It may not function because we've just been fighting over it. Be aware of that. If you have your weapon, transition to your weapon.
And so the ability to kick, surprise, and on the move while we're walking is a valuable real-world combat trait. And so, everyone slowly walk forward. Kick. Keep walking. I'll just leave this on out here. Yeah, but they're not going to. Should we have them kick? I was just going to make them do their mean face like I like to. Okay. Okay. Squad, hold. About face. Forward walk. That's the civilian talk for forward march. Try something exotic, a side kick or something, just so you can experiment with it to see if it's something you can do in combat mobility. Mobility in combat is everything. Move, communicate, shoot. Let's run!
The level 2 combat kick is the stomp kick. Since we graduate the School of Survival with a major in targeting the eyes, the throat, the groin, and the top of the feet, with a minor in finger attacks, as you'll see later, the stomp kick is a priority lesson. In many close-quarter combat encounters, the feet of the enemy are available for targeting. A stomp is defined in most dictionaries as a strike, a beatdown, a pounding, or a forcible crush downward with the foot. Here, for example, is going to be a drill that we use, and we can highlight our feet because this is what we're going to work on mostly. It's going to be in the same manner we did the statue drill, outside, inside, inside, outside. We're going to use the feet in the same way, and he's training me, so he's not going to move. He's the trainer, I'm the trainee, and this is how you can develop new people into getting this done. Or in any kind of clinch, it doesn't really matter. I stomp outside, inside, inside, and outside. And we do this for a familiarization until you think that you have got it. It's also a good warm-up to do. Targeting the shoelaces is an excellent place. That area houses some of the most fragile bones on the human body. The stomp can also be a little higher in combat scenarios, you'll see later, which could be devastating to the ankle. But the stomp kick is an excellent close-quarter combat self-defense situation. If he has me here, these stomps are available. Apply as needed multiple times. They're crippling strikes. Outside, inside, inside, outside. He has me in this grip. Outside, inside, inside, outside. It's important to do it this way because we get caught in neck restraints, chokes, and grappling situations. So practice those to develop the basic foot stomp kick. We can practice these alone. But from a neutral stance, which you may have to react in combat to, I will begin to strike. If you'll notice here, we have a common kicking shield on the ground. And this is a good target as any to practice on. I raise up and I'll strike. Neutral stance. Strike. Neutral stance. Strike. 10 from the right leg. 10 from the left leg. Then we are going to be in our athletic fighting posture. And we're going to stomp and regroup. Fake high, stomp and regroup. Fake high, stomp and regroup. With the lead leg, we have to switch to the rear leg. Fake and stomp. Fake and stomp. Fake and stomp. 10 here, 10 here. Switch leads, 10 here, 10 here. If you do 10 kicks standing, you must do 10 kicks on the ground, or you're not studying to be a consummate warrior. And we're now down here in this position, and I'm just going to raise up, and I don't really care if your foot's at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock, but we're going to get some stomp kicks in against presumably a standing person. We get 10 from here, and then 10 with this foot. And as we did with the front snap kick, I would ask you, at the end of your set of 10, you get up in a manner that's very quick and efficient. If you really want an aerobic workout, do it at every kick. But it's good to at least do it once at the end of the set of a ground 10. 10 from the right, 10 from the left. Now we're going to execute the stomp kick from a slightly different angle, but it's an angle that we scientifically do standing. Look at where I am now in relation to this kicking shield. I'm going to raise up a bit and stomp from here and come down. Raise up and stomp from here. We need 10 from this leg on this side, and we switch over to here, and 10 from the opposite side, 10 and 10. Remember we said that most counters or blocks is going to be first, evasion, second, deflection, and third, just force-to-force contact, or sometimes stopping the attack. And in this case, as I go to stomp his foot, his main counter is to escape. And if I stomp over here, he escapes. So if we did the clinch drill, and I was the trainer this time, and he's not the trainee, he'd be the trainee, outside, inside, inside, and outside. And then he begins to pick up the skill of evasion off of the drill that we just did. Now here is, we do many combat scenarios. Too many to put on tape. In fact, the combat scenario is king. It's the crisis rehearsal for what we train for. We can't squeeze up hundreds of them in this tape, but let's just show you one, at least, of a counter to a stomp kick. Worst case scenario, you're on the ground, he's about to stomp you in the face. So here we are. Now, if I'm going to get lucky, there's two ways to do this. One very, very hard way, in which as he reaches his foot up, you catch it and trip him. That takes precision timing. I don't expect many people to be able to do that. But if he's coming down and you catch this foot in some way, you may reflexively, what I'm going to do is twist it counterclockwise. And now, right from here, I might execute a stomp of my own. I see the top of his head, and I kick the head. You see? And then you would fight more and more. Not wrestling, more combative fighting than that. The second major category are the circular takedowns, and we categorize these and put them together for the purposes of organization and study. We have a neck or a head twist takedown. We have a body twist. We have a wrist twist. We have a foot twist. You know, anywhere that the body can twist, I've tried to at least experiment with one and document one for the course. Remember, we only teach the combat skeleton. It's up to you to flesh out what you do. That's how evolution occurs, and everybody gets smarter by your experimentation, too. If you come up with a better idea or some advanced move, tell me about it, and that's terrific. We'll start using that, too. So the head twist takedown will be the first of the circular takedowns, and what I'm going to do is utilize the old expression, where the head goes, the body goes. Grabbing it here is a primitive, ineffectual way, because, you don't really get any real spin on this, but you see a lot of people do this. It's better to reach around in the direction that you want to go to. Cupping the chin, grab the hair, and we don't want to turn it in this manner, but more in this manner with body momentum that may take them down. This, in the military, I was taught years and years ago, was a killing move if you do it to the maximum. It was a sentry kill. You'd come up and as hard as you could try to disconnect something in the spinal cord. So you've got to be careful doing this. But there are many applications to the head twist takedown versus tackles and ground fighting and standing that we can't cover in a tape, or it would take a whole seminar to do. So basically, if he throws a hook punch at me, I've blocked it. We've discussed earlier the double hand block. We've discussed the eye jab. Throw a hook punch in there. See that eye jab? I have already hit him in the eye as I'm doing this blocking. He comes in, both. I do the 3 o'clock palm strike that we have earlier on the video, reach around, grab, step, turn, and pull him down. Then we make your 4 choices that we discussed earlier. We'll do this from another angle. He throws that hook punch, which I block, grab, turn, and where the head goes, the body goes. Here we have the potential for a head twist takedown on the ground. I'm already noticing innocently how he's positioned himself. And these are important things you instinctively get when you practice a lot. He rears back to punch me, which I pass over. Then strike, reach, and we'll do the head twist on the ground. I'll twist him down. I'll control the head for the mule kick. No wrestling, but, something more damaging. constantly kicking the head. Boom! This is a particularly famous takedown you'll find across the lines of many, many systems. And we're just going to call it a torso circular throw. If he, and incorporates a lot of the different tactics we've already covered in this video, he throws a strike at me, which I block. I've hit him with a palm strike. The knee that we learned, where he's hopefully generating enough power that he's bent over, and now the torso throw. I come under here, step out, and I'm going to be making a big right turn, as though I'm turning a steering wheel, as I step over. And we take them down with this, any of your 4 finishes that you need to do. From this angle, there are many inserts in here, but there are 6 basic movements. If we do a bunch of inserts, there will be 17 steps to this. You will lose your way. You'll worry about the insert rather than the main move that makes it successful. I want you to do inserts, but we're only trying to cover the basic movements to get the throw in. Here we are. I make a turn, and he goes down. The cover hand comes up for 2 reasons. Trained fighters kick, so I want to protect myself against the kick. And the other thing is I want him to stay here so I can finish him. So my hand has sort of a sensitivity application. I want him to slap the mat like a trained martial artist to stay here and die. I don't want him to escape. And so that's why, too, a cover hand, and also maybe I need to scoop the leg to keep him here so I can finish him. So as we progress down from the neck, to the torso, another famous wheel or circular throw is what I like to refer to as the little throw that won't go away. And that's the wrist throw. Many people disrespect the wrist throw, and I tend to kind of agree with them. It would not be top on my list to execute. But time and time again, month after month, I hear reports of police officers successfully using the outer wrist throw, or whatever that term is that you call in your system this. And they've done it disarming people. I've used it as a cop, but still it can go wrong, because when you get down to the wrist, you've got a tiger by the tail. And it's curious, the further you go away from the torso, the harder takedowns and throws are. It's very difficult to do anything against the elbow in real life. And you get down to the wrist, it's even harder, and then your whole strategy completely switches when you get to the finger, because then you go right back to success again very well. But, there are so many different ways to do this wrist torque throw. And I'll tell you right now that I'm not very picky about them. Some people demand that the thumbs be in the center of the hand. Some people want the pinkies in. Some people want the pinkies out. Some people have different requirements. I just want you to twist the hell out of the wrist. If you do that, I think something's going to happen. And in fact, you'll see me. I reach deep now here. And you make basically there is one universal truth. Putting this palm on the ground as efficiently and quickly as possible is the one universal truth. If he gives me this stomach stab and I happen to get out of the way and I can't reach his face, I'm going to use the forearm strike that we learned earlier and smash that bicep for all that it is worth, every bit of anguish, anger, and pent-up hostility for 50 years of me walking around the earth. It's going to be bombs right into that bicep. You get the picture? You decimate that bicep. And the only reason you decimate that is you can't reach the face yet. So as that comes in, fire! And inadvertently, I am hoping to get a grip on this. Many people say, don't grab the knife hand because it'll pull back and cut you. You have to worry about that, but we're going to loosen up this arm as best we can. Boom! Hopefully this explosion draws his head down for the same amount of animosity to the face. For jawline, throat, carotid, we don't care. Extreme prejudice, he's got a knife here. Apply as needed. You need a few more. Looks like you need a few more. Go for it. And then I'll hit here again, and now comes the wrist throw. Down. Any configuration from here. Now is a good time to do the disarm after he's been, almost knocked out. Again, he comes in here, bam, 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 down. And then, you could make one of those 4 choices. So we've had a circular takedown at the throat. We've had a circular takedown at the torso. We've had a circular takedown at the wrist, which kind of activates the elbow too. Now let's take a look at a circular takedown at the leg. And we'll be over here. He's punched. It's good when you do a combat scenario and you're on the ground, is start with taking a shot. Oh, that's bad! Because I want you to learn to recover from taking the shot. And so you need to go there in your mind that you've been knocked down, it's bad, now down. Now he is going to take his big boot over here and stomp me in the face. And so here it is. My hands get up to try to stop it. Hopefully it's not a trained Hulk Hogan stomp, but rather, it's just a normal citizen stomp. I catch this, and now I twist at the ankle to... there's the twist takedown. Right from here, you know what happens next. Boom! And then, you can add on to this if you want, but there's a forearm or a hammer fist, apply as needed right here. Probably what's going to happen if he lands in this position is immediately a trained fighter is going to try to come and get me with this kick. So here it comes, and I'm going to pass it over. And then right here, and I can't do this for real because it's too dangerous. But I'm not going to dive on him and engage in wrestling. I'm going to leap in such a manner as my shin covers here, and I'm pushing down here. So I'm going to leap in such a manner, and then go for some kicks to the face or something, rather than wrestle. And then, if that works, then you're really doing good. You may have a few more that you can take advantage of. But the key is, hopefully, catching, go counterclockwise. To that, if that's the leg, if it's the other leg, you go the other way. Counterclockwise for a circular takedown versus a stomp kick. One of the main subjects of level 3 is the outer wrist torque throw, or wrist lock throw. It's a fundamental, universal, essential combat movement. You'll find it in just about every system that's good. And let me get Kevin out here. Well, we're going to show a couple of principles first. Some of our other videos, we talk about the human wrist and the only 5 directions that it can turn. It can turn all the way this way. It can turn all the way that way. It bends all the way in, bends all the way out, and goes side to side. All over the world, all the peoples of the world, only 5 ways to bend the wrist. And each one of these has fighting techniques in them. And the one that we're going to discuss is going to be this outer wrist lock throw. Now, essentially what I'd like to try to do is to take this palm of this hand and put it on the floor. Now, where on the floor will depend on his structure, how much resistance he's given me, where his legs are, many different things that will require me to work to get this done. But the idea, the end result is I'm trying to torque this wrist to the outside, thus the outer wrist lock throw, or the outer wrist torque throw, to the point where that hand is theoretically going to land on the face down, palm down on the ground. We'll turn around this way. Now, when you're doing wrist locks, or anything, I just want you to remember what we call the joint lock continuum. And that is the first time that you put pain on any particular joint, there's pain compliance, there's minor bodily injury, and then there's serious bodily injury, which could very well be a break. So anytime that you're dealing and working on somebody's joints, such as we're about to, those are the 3 possibilities. And all joint locks really should be both incidental and accidental to the events of the fight. I'm not going to get into a fight with Kevin and say, okay, I'm going to get him with an outer wrist lock throw. I don't know what's going to happen. But if I have a lot of stuff in my muscle memory, that's what I'm going to depend on, what's ever there. And so these are the things that we're trying to load up our arsenal with. I'm going to show several different ways to do this. One is a real short, small circle, efficient, painful way. And basically what I'm going to do is start pushing on this particular knuckle here. And I'm going to drive it almost straight down. And so we'll call this small circle. I can use the palm of my hand or almost anything to force this. But you see, here it is, and I'm going to turn it straight down. and it usually causes a powerful reaction. Another way to do this is going to be to try to control the center knuckle with your hands. And so what I'm going to do again is I'm going to try to turn the palm straight down, but instead of accentuating this knuckle, some systems work on the center knuckle, and they'll do the same thing. But see, they'll turn their body and turn them straight down. Then you have offshoots of these type of things that require some footwork. Sometimes I can't just twist somebody down like this because they're bending and their foot position. So I may have to trip him. I may have to step around and trip him to go. I may have to come out here and turn and drop and smash using the body's dynamics. Or sometimes I can go right over the top. So your position, you're going to have to troubleshoot and problem solve the positioning of the person to make the outer wrist lock throw an effective thing. And you're going to see these as we start to do some of the different type of situations. Some other aspects that you need to know about this outer wrist lock or torque throw is that I would like to say that my favorite way is that this forearm is level, almost on a table. And then it is in my center. This comes from my Japanese martial arts. It's in my center, and his center's over here. So that when I twist him, he is not in control. It's a very efficient movement. There's no play. The higher up his arm goes, the more you lose that level, there is more play. You just have to problem solve it. You see, and I call this the vertical wrist lock throw, because I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to do it up there. You see, so you have to be able to do it low and execute the throw high to understand how it'll work. This is powerful too, but there's play here, and down here there's no play, and it's quick. And a man can resist you if he can make a fist and use his strength. But if you get the wrist bent, once again, he's starting to lose his grip and his power. It relates to even holding a knife, as we'll see in a second. So when you start to bend his wrist, and please keep in mind that you can hit this too, boom, with an elbow, and break it, take weapons out, boom, do all kinds of things. So let's get right into the test and to what I expect to see for combat scenarios. This is going to be a single-handed grab. A bad guy will come up and grab you with one hand. Now, you can have him do anything with this hand that you might want. But see, right here, the first thing I'm going to do is palm strike or hand strike, get the diminished fighter. Get the person who is stumbling and struck and gives you best advantage. So I'm going to hit him. I'm going to come back and grab underneath. See? Move up, grab, and now I'm going to begin to put the palm on the ground. Subtly, I may twist this inward. You see the reaction that you got from him? I may twist it inward. Now, I don't want you, sometimes I show that to people, and sometimes they worry more about twisting the elbow in than they do putting the palm on the ground, and they lose the focus and the intention of the move. But we want to get this is just a little aftershock. He goes down, say, boom, right on the face. Any combat thing that you want to do, because we're combat scenario driven, and I like to see ground finish when we do these techniques. The center of this technique is the outer wrist lock throw. So let's turn around from this angle. He grabs me. Bam! I hit him. What if he grabs my hand? Then I do the releasing technique. Boom! I still hit him. I can still do it. You see? So it does not matter. If he grabs my hand high, I can still do the technique. You see? So he grabs. And I encourage you to be creative when you make these scenarios up for the test, because it'll only help you. So here, I smack him as hard as I can. If he were to try to block that, boom, see, I could come in with an elbow. Well, watch it again. He starts to block it over. I can come in with an elbow and then return to my technique. But anyway, I hit him. I turn palm up. I catch. Get the ball of the thumb if possible, because now we're in. One of the most powerful is the reverse handshake of the outer wrist lock throw. I drop him down, and then knee and knee for a finish. That's one combat scenario, the basis of it. Now let's take a look at the body circular throw. And we'll use it against the stick attacker. Let me borrow this for a second. Many stick attackers we are thankful for are untrained, and they do a few mistakes. An untrained stick attacker will rear back too far, giving you an opportunity to do something. They will overswing, maybe giving you an opportunity to do something. And they tend to take a weapon that's too short and swing it like a baseball bat. This is good for you. Not enough momentum to really cause a lot of impact. So those are three common mistakes that stick attackers do. And we're going to take a look at a madman stick attacker and talk you through a large wheel circular throw. He's coming in, and as we say in the business, we nickname this the tornado throw because you step inside the tornado. You know, and as this comes around, I'm grabbing here. Now, I'm not just grabbing here, if you notice. What I want to do, as this comes in, I like to hit here. I'm just going to grab, like some systems and just, blend. I'm busting. I'm not blending. That's the main idea here. So I'm catching, and I'm not just grabbing. I want to get that shot in there against the back of the head and also possibly the carotid. Catch and throw. Then I may come up with a stick. Slow motion. This is coming in. I step inside this motion, and I see I've wrapped the arm, get a shot here, and now I'm just turning with his inertia as he goes down low. Cover, and then see if you can't get the stick out. And now, if you talk about the head being a center of balance, or the old adage of where the head goes, the body goes, this is a prime example of this excellent technique. I was first introduced to this technique when I went through basic training in the Army, and it was a lethal technique. And I want you to understand that when you do this type of thing, it has a continuum. It can run from a takedown to death. And so you have to remember that when you're trying to do it. And remember that you must do what is legal and proper that gets the job done. And sometimes this means the demise of the bad guy. So you need to know all these things. They give you a gun and you learn how to shoot it all the time. If you drive a big car, that's an extremely deadly weapon. Oftentimes you're not trusted with mere hand-to-hand combat tactics from the beginning to the end of the spectrum. This is what we're all about, is delivering you these techniques. But at any rate, basically, we are going to twist the head. Now, some people do it in a very primitive manner. They clap on the ears and they turn the head this way, and that is not as effective as what I'm about to show you. You don't really get a good grip on the object to turn it. I like to incorporate this with that palm strike, and I'll tell you why. Because this is going to get the beginning of the twist for you. And it could be anything, but the palm is pretty effective. The palm is good because people have strength down their center line when they tighten up their neck. They're very, very strong here with lots of resistance here. But over here, not that much. And over here, even less. And so if you're able to break the center line of someone's protective device there, you have the advantage. Not just to mention that you're shocking the person. But I am going to hit here and begin the twist and reach around the head. Now, if he's got hair, I have an excellent handle. But odd job here has no hair. So you're going to have to use what you can to grab a hold of. Sometimes people reach around as far as the nose. Sometimes people reach in and hook the cheek. And with varying success, because you may tear the connection of the inner cheek to the gums before you actually begin to get a takedown. And those people who pass the hair, grabbing the hair, and reach around and get the nose, are not thinking about New Orleans on a hot Sunday night, or any place that a person is hot in any season and they're sweating, and you've lost that. So it's good to get as much as you can, but the hair is really good. Hit. Grab, and I'm going to now twist this head in this type of fashion. Where the head goes, the body goes. police officer. I've hit the ground many times. I've been tackled. I've tackled others. In grappling and wrestling with others, we've tripped over curbs, fences, hedges, flower pots, you name it, living room furniture, and we've hit the ground. And so I'm very concerned about falling and teaching people the proper and safer way to fall. Now, what you just saw is the typical classical martial art approach. And it's fine on a mat, but it's not the best way to fall in a street fight or a bar fight, or so many fights occur, inside houses and in many different places in terrain. And let's get Leyland out here, and I want to go through the step-by-step of the classical and then describe why we should avoid that one and do a more modern approach. The delivery system doesn't matter what we use. I'll step in. As I throw him down, typically many are taught that they will expel their breath and save their head, rounding off the shoulders, which is good. But when they hit the ground, they'll slam that forearm and hand and elbow down onto the ground. And in some, treat it like a badge of courage. The louder they slap, the more of a martial artist they are, the more experience that they have. And this is detrimental to your survival for two reasons. One, that it could totally numb that arm. Your elbow or forearm or hand even can smack something and just totally numb out that arm, where you're fighting with only one limb after that. And the other thing is, through repetition training, remember, under combat stress, we drop to our repetition level of training, rarely if ever change that or rise to our expectations. And he is just laying himself prone out from hundreds of repetitions for me to finish him. The street fighter, the trained fighter, the untrained brawler, from here, will hammer away, or they'll drop knees, or they'll dive on top of them. So by doing this classical fall, you're defeating yourself in two ways. You're running the risk of losing that arm, and secondly, just putting yourself out so that the bad guy can finish you. So what I like to teach, and by the way, this is not all new to the martial arts. Some systems use this approach too, but every major military in the world that's updated and modified their training use this roll-out escape rather than the body slam and slam out as they're falling. So we're going to throw this punch. I'm going to hit him. On the way down, as he goes, he's going to round off everything, expel air, and immediately roll away. Now suddenly, he's gone. There's no more follow-up from me. He's gone, he's up, he's ready to fight again. This is so much of a smarter way to do it. Now, can you imagine slamming your forearm or your elbow down on a surface like this? Or being thrown and slamming down here on a sidewalk, or even out here on the street? It's better that you protect your limbs, roll out to escape, get up as quickly as possible to counterattack. We'll begin now with the solo command and mastery of the SMS material. We'll review them quickly for you. How I would stand is a very comfortable stance. How would Muhammad Ali stand if he were in a stick fight? This hand is up in the window of combat, that rectangle loosely bordered by shoulders and about mid-thigh, ready to go into action. Not epoxy to the chest, not posed at the ribs or like I was a classical dancer with my hand in the back. This hand can't wait to get into the fight. So it needs to be up and ready to go. I prefer that people leave some handle sticking out of the bottom of their hand, because it is a good striking implement. It's sometimes a hooking implement. Some systems will have you hold it all the way up like this, and it doesn't control my stick well enough. The situation is that they think that if there's a handle sticking out, they can come in and disarm it. And that's hard to do. If you're aware of that, don't try to not let them into that position. The benefits of having a handle far, far, far outweigh the one singular problem of having no handle. So it's just something to think about. We're going to take a look at slashing. And we're going to go through some commanded mastery movements. We just do it on the clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. I'm in a comfortable stance. This hand is up, and I'm going to slash down from a 12 o'clock position. I'm over here from a 3 o'clock position. I slash across. Usually it's palm up, palm down to be rather tight. A stick slash is an event at the wrist and the elbow, not so much the shoulder. Here's where we teach people to counter and charge in. Here's where we teach people to take advantage. But if you stay tight and efficient, it's better. 6 o'clock comes up, and then 9 o'clock slashes across. Now, in your classes, it's okay to do the entire clock. 1, 2, 3. It's okay to do the whole clock, but for the purposes of presenting the entire program to a large group or whatever, these 4 quadrants of the clock are pretty good to look at. Let's take a look at always doing it from the left hand, too. We learn in gunfighting, this hand gets injured or shot, and we have to do it from the other side. Comfortable stance, we have a 12 o'clock. We have a 3 o'clock. We have a 6 o'clock strike, and you have a 9 o'clock strike. You should also do these on the ground, kneeling, on your back, and experience them on your sides. You don't have a lot of freedom sometimes, but you need to experience that, because sometimes you may have to take that strike from the ground. Let's take a look at a hit and retract. 12 o'clock hit and retract, 3 o'clock hit and retract, 6 o'clock hit and retract, and a 9 o'clock hit and retract. We'll switch. We have 12, my 3 o'clock, my 6 o'clock, and my 9 o'clock strike. Then you have a very famous strike we call the fan strike. In Spanish and Filipino systems, they call it the abanico. But we can still do it on the clock as a universal teaching principle. The fan, I'll do this sideways. The fan, here's a vertical one, here's a horizontal version. And so here is a 12 o'clock strike and a 6 o'clock follow-up. Could be head, groin, high, low. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Here's a 3 o'clock strike. Right side, left side. Head, head, wrist. Forearm, forearm. Anything from this side to this side. 6 o'clock starts low, groin and up to the head. Groin, head, low, high. And then 9 o'clock starts on this side, and the 3 o'clock follow-up over here. Left, right. Temple, elbow, temple. Any combination that you can work from these. We do the knee high, do them on the back, on our back on the ground. Very important. Next major impact strike, this is what we're studying, is going to be big circles, the 2 hits. And they look sort of like this from 12 o'clock, 1 strike, 2 strikes. 3 o'clock, 1 strike, 2 strikes. In the Philippines, they call this to us the room clear, big swings. You can do them small too, but they tend to be counterproductive to me. I learned in Negros Island that this was supposed to protect a neck slashing attack. And I just imagine trying to get this in its perfect position to interrupt that attack to come around again. I'd rather just, take the big swing. 12 again. 1, 2 strikes. 3 o'clock. 1, 2 strikes. 6 o'clock, outside or inside. 1, 2 strikes. Or 1, 2 strikes. And from the 9 o'clock position, 1, 2 strikes. Big room clears. The 12 o'clock one, rather than so much of a pivot at the shoulder, is actually like a racetrack. The straightaway, the curve, the straightaway. It's like this. And that's 1, 2, to maximize the impact. Then we have small circles, which tend to be problematic to many people, but they're just a way to make 2 quick contacts. 12 o'clock is 1, 2. You see, it's not perfect. We're not double jointed. We have to create a cone. You have to leave a little bit of distance and freedom in your hand and keep at least a pinky involved. But this is supposed to hit and hit again, not hit And then on the second one, like a baton twirler at a high school football game, create an impact in the stick drawer out of your hand. So you have hit again from 12, hit again from 3, hit again from 6, hit, and hit again. And of course you must do all of these left-handed and knee-high and on the ground. And we have to also cover, in a subject of shaft strike, the reverse grip. Shaft strike, 12 o'clock. Shaft strike, 3 o'clock. Shaft strike, 6 o'clock. Shaft strike, 9 o'clock. We'll switch hands. We have a 12 and a 3 and a 6 o'clock and a 9 o'clock. And you notice the body dynamics involved with every one. That's what we call synergy. These are synergy developing drills. Synergistically, we strike with momentum that comes from the ball of the foot, the calf muscle, the entire body is involved in a strike. Always make your students understand that, because there's a difference between striking like this and striking with some power. I don't formalize any footwork patterns. I figure that if you can run and walk, you probably have 85% of all the footwork I need to teach somebody how to fight. So I don't worry about a lot of different things. If a person can walk up to a door, pull it open, allow someone to walk through, he already has fighting footwork. You see, he's already doing that. And that's the connection to make with your students, rather than stripping all their walking and running ability down to a moronic level and teaching them how to walk again and how to move to the right or the left. So you have a summary of the shaft strikes. You know, those are just the ones that use the shaft to strike. Now let's take a look at the handle strikes, or the pommel strike. And we have thrusting pummels and hooking pummels. Here, we'll start with the thrusting ones. From here I thrust in at 12. From over here I thrust in at 3. From over here I thrust in at 6. And from here I thrust in at 9 o'clock. We switch for a 12 and a 3 and a 6. And if you're on this side, a 9 o'clock. This is real close quarter fighting. And we'll show you how to counter these a little bit later on. Then you have hooking handles. A hooking handle at 12. A hooking handle at 3. A hooking handle at 6. And a hooking handle at 9 o'clock. Lefty, 12, 3, 6, and 9. It's important to experience all of these knee-high and on the ground. You cannot forget that. We don't want to burn up a lot of time, though, repetitiously doing these things. Then we have the tips. Again, we have tip stabs. We have a tip, hooking tip at 12, hooking tip stab at 3, hooking at 6, and a hooking at 9 o'clock. 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. And then we have thrusting tip stabs. Thrust at 12. Thrust at my 3 o'clock. Thrust low. And from here, thrust. Switch hands. Thrust at 12. Thrust at 3. Thrust low at 6. And thrust at 9 o'clock. And these are, the big ones. Shaft, handle, and tip. How do you utilize this with a single hand as an impact weapon? We've done these in the air. Now we need to do them hitting something. It's important to feel, the resistance of reality, as well as build goal-specific strengths to really hit something. Too often people train and not hit anything real hard. And so what I'll do here is I'll utilize this because it's nice and big, but you can use smaller sticks too as a little bit of safety. And I'm not going to move. I'm just going to let him strike this stick. Workout. You could have an entire group of people do this and not have to have 50 heavy bags or lots of equipment. Now, just another partner holding a stick. We'll get a little bit of vertical work. Good for the shaft strikes. It's important when you're using a stick in combat to have mobility and move around. And so now we'll take it to the next step. he was hitting a stationary object. Now we're going to develop it in motion. And again, anybody with a stick in any training environment can be able to do this. Remember the focus mid drills we do in unarmed combatives? I'm not just going to leave this out for him. I'm going to hold it back, like you hold a focus mitt back and flash it for a punch. I'm having a stick back and I hold it out, and he'll take a strike at it. It could be a horizontal target, it could be a vertical target. Stalk a bit, give it to him. If you leave it out there, you've got to hit it until you leave it out there. When you pull it back, be quick. Now what you can do is assign your student the particular shaft strike and then develop it in this manner. Have him hit a solid object, have him chase one, and deal with it that way. Now we'll make it more interactive. It's one thing to step into a combat zone, strike an opponent. It's another thing when that opponent is trying to strike back at you. And so here's a safe way to develop mobility, the footwork, and the in and out. You got to get in and you got to get out safely. Otherwise, you're committing suicide. And you're training your students to commit suicide. If you let your students trade multiple shots on helmets, you're training your student to get hit in the head without any concern about it, and you're training them to commit suicide. It's one thing to wear safety gear, it's another thing to abuse safety gear in training methodology. And so that's why we developed the kill shot. You get hit in the head with a stick, it's over. You sit down. After a while, you learn to protect your head and make strategies to hit the other guy's head, not ignoring it. That's not reality. And so what we'll do this time is I'll hold the stick out and you'll hit it. And then I swing back at him with a training object. And so he's got to get in and get out.